the rebound. Dennis! Number 4, Eddie from Coral Gables, Florida. We truly have entered into a world of double standards. Well, sure, that's fine for you to say. See what I did? Where making sense of it is all hard. You aren't kidding. I honest to God, there's sometimes that days drive you so crazy about what is now considered to be the conventional wisdom that I do have that thought about. I always think about living in Heidi's house in Switzerland or something. You know, like going way up in the mountains and getting a house with DirecTV because I don't have to watch some sports. And just reading books all day and, you know, going out and yodeling. Because you're right, there are days down here it's hard to make sense of it all. I just find it amazing how two people can do or say exactly the same thing, and depending on their political persuasion, one will get a pass and the other one will not. Have we all really went back to 3rd grade where the teachers' pets in society never had to be concerned with doing the right thing? Yeah. Tenfold. Tenfold. Listen, I can only simplify it into the most basic inconsistency I've seen, which is at one point, and all this tears being cried about us being torturers are about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who spilled his guts when they waterboarded him. A terrifying yet non-lethal gesture that saved lives, in my book. And some people say, how do you know that? I just think that I was told that he spilled by George Tenet, a guy who didn't, I believe, at that point have Bush's best interests in mind, and Leon Panetta, who wasn't even a Bush devotee. I've been told that they gave up information that saved lives. So I go with it. I just think Panetta seems like a straight shooter to me. All we heard about was his torture and how they wanted to bring him back here to New York City to have an American civilian trial, even though he's not a citizen. And I used to parody that by saying and put him on Judge Judy in essence. Can you imagine the goat fuck that it would turn into to bring Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, jury selection, voir dire, all that stuff, with a guy who's not even, you'd have to explain it to him. He wouldn't even know what our country system is. He was going to get that. This Alawaki guy, who is an American citizen, is driving around over on his turf, and a drone just blows him up and blows up, I think his son was with him. And he's an American citizen, and everybody's okay with that on the left. But it was torture of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. And I was just point out the fact that if you could talk to Alawaki through a seance and say, would you have preferred to be waterboarded instead of the humanistic gesture that is blowing your fucking head off, which would you take? That sums it up. They've got their head around that. Now that's one where I got to say to myself, I think I'm right on that one. I try to give room on certain things. I go, maybe I'm not right. Not many, but a few, just so I don't want to walk around presuming I know everything. But that one, I think if they're not going to concede that turf, and they're not, they're going to say that he's wise, Bush was stupid, they're just going to stay on that. There's no fixing this, except at the ballot box. And I think we should all be thankful. I believe we are at war with each other in this country. It's just ironically, civil has two meanings. It used to be a war between the states. It was a nasty civil war. This is a relatively civil war. So whenever I hear stuff like them calling Sarah Palin the C word, I think it could be bullets. At least we've notched it back from all that. But the language is going to be as ugly as you can be without actually being a weapon. And so that's, you got to be thankful for small pleasures. But in lieu of weapons, it's like a hockey, they want to do away with hockey fights. And I always think, boy, you get rid of hockey fights, the stick work is going to get really chippy because guys are going to still have scores to settle. So I assume they'll get it with that. And like I said, we're not using weaponry anymore in our current civil war, but I assume the language, you're going to hear women called the C word. And you're going to hear, what was that one comment about Sarah Palin? I can't even say it. It was about her having a baby out of her. Well, tell Eric off the air. I can't even say it. But it's going to get. It's as ugly as it can get, and it's going to stay that way. And we'll see what uncaps the pressure. I'm hoping it's this election, but I don't think so. I think if they win, they stay angry. The left. If they lose, That's when we see the next chapter here. That's when the Occupy movement does a little more than Occupy. I won't say it because I don't want to be the one who gets saddled with, oh, the apocalyptic doomsayer. You tell me what happens if the Occupy movement gets a little more crazed. What do you see coming down the pike? Enjoy these samples of the Bathrobe Sessions, a weekly video available only to members of the DMZ, the Dennis Miller Zone, on DennisMillerRadio.com.